Welcome to dkameraTV in English, today with the Nikon D5300, Nikon's latest entry-level top model, if you will, in Nikon's APS-C format DX series of cameras. The Nikon D5300 replaces the D5200. It stands in the middle between the 3 series and the 7 series of APS-C cameras, has a new sensor with still 24 megapixels, but the difference to the D5200 is that the 5300 sensor now comes without an anti-aliasing or low-pass filter, which means sharper images. Another difference between the 5300 and the 5200 is the display. The 5300 now sports a 3.2-inch display with 1.04 million pixels. As a comparison, the D5200 had a 3-inch display with 921,000 pixels. Also new with the D5300 is the video frame rate, which is now 50 or 60p, depending on whether you use PAL or NTSC. The 5200 supported a maximum of 25 or 30 pictures per second. As for the body, not a lot has changed with the 5300. We'll take a look around and see what's different. New on this side of the camera is the button to select the bracketing or self-timer mode. This was located on the top of the camera before. We have a function button which can be customized, as well as the button to activate the flash. Here we have the connectivity options of the camera, microphone input, USB and AV out combined, a jack for a remote control, as well as an HDMI output. On the top of the camera we have the mode dial, which hasn't changed. The shutter button is still on the front with the on-off switch placed around it. Here's the button to activate exposure compensation, the button to activate the info screen, and the video recording button, which activates video recording only in live view mode. These symbols designate that the D5300 now has GPS and Wi-Fi connectivity, which is new as compared to the D5200. The live view switch has gotten a slight cosmetic change, and that's about it as to the top of the camera. On the back, we already mentioned the screen, which is now a little larger, but the rest of the back is basically identical. The menu button is still to the left of the viewfinder. There we have the diopter adjustment, info button to change the display of the screen, the exposure and autofocus locking button, the settings dial, the playback button, the dial to switch between the menus and to go through the menu options, OK button, and the buttons for zooming and deleting images in playback mode. The SD card slot is still on the same side of the camera. We have a Lexa 250GB card in the camera right now, and it works flawlessly even with SD cards that have a capacity of 256GB, which is nice, especially for video recording. And on the bottom of the camera, finally, we have the tripod mount and the compartment for the battery. So let's take a quick look at the display and the menus of the D5300. This is the info screen, which you'll see when you're using the viewfinder for picture composition. It shows things such as shutter speed, aperture size, ISO value. By pressing the info button on top, the screen can be activated or deactivated. The other info button on the back of the camera activates the quick access menu, which lets you change settings such as image size, ISO, white balance, and so on. When in live view mode, this button will activate video recording. Just press it once and the video starts to record. The nice thing about the D5300's video mode is the fact that, for one thing, it shows the volume of the microphone input, and also you can focus and zoom while recording video. In live view mode, again, we have a couple of different info screens which can be changed using this button. The amount of information that is displayed can be changed. Also, a frame for composition is available. One of the D5300's main competitors is the Pentax K50, so let's take a look on the differences between the two cameras. First thing you'll notice between the D5300 and the Pentax K50 is that size-wise the two are almost identical. That's not true as far as weight goes, however. The K50 is slightly heavier, 649 grams. The D5300 only has 532 grams. Main reason for this is that the Pentax K50 is, for one thing, weather sealed, and then it has a glass prism viewfinder which has 100% coverage and 0.92 magnification, whereas the D5300's viewfinder has a mirror prism, 95% coverage and 0.82 magnification. The sensor in the K50 resolves 16 megapixels. We already mentioned the 5300 has a 24 megapixel sensor without low-pass filter. Finally, one of the most notable differences between the two cameras is the fact that the D5300 has a tiltable and flippable display, which is nice, especially if you like to take pictures from different perspectives. That was our little hands-on impressions with the Nikon D5300, short comparison to the Pentax K50. We hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.